How's it going, everybody? Sean Ross here, and here is my review on Tokyo Ghoul chapter 147 entitled 1. Finally, we have a Tokyo Ghoul chapter that is moving the plot forward. Don't get me wrong, I have enjoyed these past 2-3 weeks of chapters with Kaneki turning into dragon and just wreaking havoc on the city of Tokyo. But ever since Kaneki has turned into dragon, the question in the back of my mind has been, where is the story moving forward from Kaneki, turning into dragon? What is the end game result of, Furuta achieving this goal? I've had that question for most likely the past 2 weeks so far, but with this chapter, I am really glad that Ishida is actually getting all of our characters, almost together, having separate groups finally, conjoining, coming up with a plan, and I can actually see, in future chapters, all of these groups converging to actually battle against the dragon threat, which I am very much looking forward to. And this also goes along with Furuta's, super peace plan of bringing humans and ghouls most likely together to fight against their common enemy. It's the same, I think, plan that the One-Eyed King, Arima and Eto also had, just to bring about peace between this endless war that kind of has been going on between human and ghouls. But this chapter, from the CCG, from GOAT to the Marude Scarecrow/Hide organization, a lot of our groups right now are actually, coming up with game plans. We didn't get to see all of our characters. Like, we have no idea where Yomo is with Uta right now. We don't know where Ayato is with this one-eyed ghoul that has been hyped up for 20 chapters right now. Like, when is that actually going to come back into the plot of Tokyo Ghoul Re? And also, where's Clown in all this? But also, Kano, because I think that is actually being answered by the ending of this chapter, because Hide is the man with the plan. Scarecrow is like, we need a specialist. We need to find and actually consult with a specialist. And I believe that 95% of us can agree that that is talking about Kano. And I'm really excited about that, because if Kano ends up coming back into the story, that also brings Kimi back into the story, Nishiki's girlfriend. So that has been a mystery and a plot point that really hasn't returned into the story yet for Tokyo Ghoul Re. So if we are in fact looking for Kano, I'm really excited about that story thread finally coming back into Tokyo Ghoul. But overall, I'm just really excited to talk about this week's chapter. But if I was to give an MVP award, it would be Marude. He is an absolute boss in this chapter, walking into the middle of the CCG where everyone around him has already presumed him to be dead, and him coming in and basically saying, you guys need a leader right now, follow me. Major points right there. I absolutely love that. So let's rewind. Let's go all the way back to the first pages of Tokyo Ghoul Re chapter 147. And let's just talk about the chaos that right now is ensuing with the CCG. So we open up to a scene within the CCG, what looks like to be accountants and B-level investigators, like the fodder of the CCG that just gets killed off in every panel in every chapter, trying to assess the situation. They have no idea what's going on. They're like, wait, RC reactions? Is it a ghoul that's attacking? What's the casualty count at this point? Right now, the CCG is basically not prepared to handle this threat that is Dragon. And you're just looking at the complete disarray and chaos that the CCG is in. But while the main CCG office is basically scrambling to try to figure out what's going on, we can see the rest of the queues of Psycho, Shao, and Higemaru rushing to the CCG, which I love these panels because Psycho is able to assess the situation right off the bat. She immediately sees the giant cog and it's like, okay, we got to make it to the CCG right away. And Shao and Higemaru are just basically like, roger that, we're right behind you. And this I just love because it just shows the character development that has gone on with Psycho. And I'll talk about Urei's again when that pops up, once we get to Urei in this chapter. But Psycho, I love the character development that has just been shown with her character. She has grown so much throughout Tokyo Ghoul Re. I am just proud of our little neat Psycho. So adorable, so cute. I love Psycho to death. But as we cut away from Psycho in the queues, we see this gigantic shot of a section of Dragon with some CCG operatives that appear to be trash collectors, on the side of the road. And these guys have the balls to poke at it. This thing has its eyes closed, but yet they are ballsy enough to actually poke it with their trash stick. And one of them is like, I guess it's asleep. It must be dead. Maybe it's hibernating. It's not responsive, but it immediately opens its eyes and his buddy immediately gets decapitated. And we see this shot of Mugen, which I absolutely loved getting to see him again. And everyone is just basically shocked at this. It's like, well, it's alive. We don't really know what to do right now, so let's retreat for now. And so that is really assessing the CCG doesn't really know how to handle this dragon threat. But then this was actually unexpected in the chapter because we cut away from that section into Yuriko getting rescued by Bunjin. And this made complete sense because with the complete chaos and disarray of the CCG right now, they would not be on high alert for a missing criminal that they have in jail right now. So Bunjin is actually being very smart, going in to rescue Yuriko before she's about to be executed, is basically saying, grab my hand, we gotta go. But Yuriko's like, I have no idea what's even going on right now. It felt like there was an earthquake outside. What is going on right now? And Bunjin's like, I can't tell you, I have no idea, but they end up running into Ito, which I got to admit, in my live reaction, I totally forgot his name as soon as he popped up, but it's Ito, and this character is very nonchalant in everything that he does. I do really like him, but I don't remember the last time that he actually popped up in the story of Tokyo Ghoul. It might have been the clown arc, I believe, but if not, it probably was Rue Island. So he basically confronts Bunjin and Yuriko at outside the CCG and immediately sees them and just rubs it off as like, oh, are you guys going on a date, Bunjin? You know, newlyweds are so passionate, you know, hope you guys enjoy your date. Don't worry about this. I'll take everything from here. Go enjoy yourself. I absolutely love that because he knows that Yuriko was most likely imprisoned and he's just like, dude, just go rescue your wife. You're gonna be fine. We've got this handled. Go enjoy yourself. So I absolutely love that because it just really goes to show the camaraderie between Ito and Bunjin because not only are they most likely good friends, they've worked together for a very, very long time. So we move away from the first half of the chaos taking place at the CCG and we make our way over to the provision squad of the GOAT organization where Nishiki, Banjo, and Tsukiyama are slowly coming to realize that the monster that is destroying Tokyo right now is their king, Kaneki. And while they're slowly watching as this horror unfolds before their eyes, Nishiki and Banjo notice that Hinami and Miza have made their way above ground and have become a part of the provision squad. So this is actually catching Nishiki and Banjo off guard. Banjo immediately notices that Hinami is missing her leg, which is actually a good thing because Banjo is technically the doctor or at least the medic of the GOAT organization. So I have no worries of him actually healing Hinami up to have her regrow her leg. But Nishiki right now is completely out of the loop. He's asking all the questions of where's Kaneki? Why are you guys here? What happened at headquarters? What is that thing right now attacking Tokyo? And this section actually surprised me because we get the reveal that Toka is also amongst the provision squad. And from last chapter's cliffhanger, I kind of thought that she was shielded or encased by the cognate of Dragon. I did not believe the theory that she was inside Dragon, but I just thought, with Kaneki's last thought of being Toka, protect Toka, that he sent out some cognates to go shield her and keep her safe. But that tended to not be the case to where she actually was able to make her way with Hinami and Miza to the provision squad, and she just lets them all know, straight up, not even holding back, that thing out there is Kaneki. And Nishiki, who's doesn't even realize, Kaneki and Toka, husband and wife, she's most likely grieving for the fact that Kaneki right now is turned into this monstrosity. He immediately makes a sad moment very, very funny just by being himself, where he's basically like, what the fuck are you on about? It's that pile of shit out there is Kaneki, grabs Toka's shoulder, turns her around, and that stare, that glare, I love the panel of Toka where she just looks Nishiki dead in the eye and says, yes, that is Kaneki. And Nishiki can't even bring himself to actually keep eye contact with her and immediately feels bad about where he has to look away and he knows that he messed up in that moment. So Nishiki and Banjo have now come to realize that Kaneki is now Dragon, but then we move over to Chihei, our little mouse, alongside Tsukiyama, who makes the connection right away that that thing out there is Kaneki and immediately starts freaking out. He goes ballistic, saying, if only I had stopped him, and it's I gotta get down there, I must go, I must be with my king, I must be with Kaneki. But Chihei, being the smart, analytical one, immediately grabs Tsukiyama, puts him down on the ground, and it's listen, you gotta think things through before you make your way down there. Because I know you're going to go out there with no plan whatsoever, you just wanna go see Kaneki. So think before you act, Tsukiyama. Our little mouse is putting Tsukiyama in his place right now, and I'm really glad that we got to see that in this chapter. So this little section of GOAT and our provision squad is just basically having everyone caught up to speed with what is going on with Kaneki, Dragon, and what they are looking at right now as it descends upon Tokyo. So we go away from the provision squad and make our way back to the CCG, but this section by far is my favorite section out of this chapter because this is where we get to see Marude at his best. He is MVP this chapter, stepping into the leader role that Furuta basically stepped down from last chapter and letting every operative of the CCG know who is in charge, who is the leader, who is giving the orders, and who has a plan to basically go up against Kaneki while he's in his dragon form. I love this section. I love the dialogue that he's just spouting out as he's giving orders, where everyone is just basically gawking at him like as if they've seen a ghost. And this is the dialogue that he ends up telling everyone around him. Quit looking like you've all seen a ghost. You shitheads were dragging your feet so much that I had to come back from hell to whip you into shape. That right there is a man that you do not want to mess with, and this just put the smile on most of these operatives' faces because now they're all put at ease, morale is boosted up, they now have someone who they know personally is fit for leadership. And I absolutely love this moment too because Marude is basically asking all the right questions. It's like, all right guys, what information do we have? What data have we collected? Have you guys tried using Quinte bullets? All weapons that have been used and fired, bring that data to me. We're going to see what has worked and what has not. And we're going to basically use that information to move forward and actually, combat against Dragon. This right here is the look of a leader, and I'm so glad that Marude doesn't, in fact, die like early on in the series, and he came back with Scarecrow, with Hide, and he is just taking charge. So as he is leading the CCG, Psycho and the rest of the Qs make their way to the CCG. She ran so fast that she's absolutely exhausted, and she immediately sees Ure, who has Matsuri Washu basically behind him. It's like so close. Matsuri right now is just so happy just to be within arm's length of his love, Ure. But Psycho sees Ure, immediately calls him out, and this right here always shows Ure's character development, where he sees Yonebayashi and in his mind is like so happy to see her and so glad that she actually made her way to the CCG. Who would have thought that this character from way in the beginning of Tokyo Ghoul Re would actually come to care about his subordinates, his teammates, and his friends? That right there just shows Psycho and Ure's character development throughout this entire series, and I absolutely love it. But these next two sections I find to be very, very simple, but I cannot avoid talking about the resurrection of Mutsuki and Aura. And I know that a lot of people are going to be very upset by the fact that Mutsuki and Aura are both, alive and well after fighting Yomo. This section did not surprise me at all because I knew that that wasn't going to kill Mutsuki, but the fact that she was able to molt her skin or kind of had like a Kagane-like barrier around her that actually shielded and protected her from the, electrocution that Yomo did to her, I find that very fascinating and just a very cool way in order to survive that. And I love the panel of her just having, kind of like the trench coat around her. It's very, very nice to see. But the fact that she just walked over to Aura, tapped him on his broken neck of a head, and he's able to snap back into place and kind of just woke up as if he just had like slept on his neck wrong and just like badly, badly injured. Like that section, I'm like, really? Aura didn't die from that? But I know a lot of people are going to be very, very upset with the fact that Aura didn't die. And I actually did like the theory of Mutsuki, waking up and having to heal by eating Aura. But turns out they're both alive, and we're all just gonna have to live with that for right now. But moving on to the last section, which is actually what I want to speculate on and talk about Kano most likely reappearing into the story of Tokyo Ghoul Re, because Marude is talking to Scarecrow / Hide, and Hide basically, writes down on his notebook, turns it to Marude and says, shall we ask for a specialist? And actually misspelling specialist. But this right here, I think 95% of us can agree that the specialist he is talking about is Kano, because Kano is the one that was actually, created the Ogai with Furuta. He's created Kaneki. So the fact that all of this is connected, he would be the one most likely to be able to actually come up with a solution to actually revert Kaneki out of this dragon state. But what I'm even more excited about is the fact if this does bring Kano back, this would also bring Kimi back into the story. Nishiki's girlfriend, who I don't remember what chapter it was, but it was near the end of the Rue Island arc, I believe, to where we saw Kimi, you know, leaving with Kano. So she is with him, and if this brings Kano back, this will also bring Kimi back into the story, which is a story thread that was put in place at the very beginning of Tokyo Ghoul Re when we got introduced to Serpent / Nishiki, you know, looking for Torso because he's been looking for Kimi this whole time. So I'm really excited, and I'm hoping that this is actually in fact Kano he's talking about, because I can't really think of anyone else who would fall under the specialist role to actually help them, you know, trying to figure out how to get Kaneki and this dragon state under control. But I'm really looking forward to see where the story is now heading. I'm really glad that this chapter actually, you know, provided us with actually moving the plot forward, giving us some more characters, you know, interacting and actually coming together, coming up with a plan, and now all the chess pieces are now being slowly moved into place, and most likely all of these organizations and groups are going to team up, come together to actually fight or, you know, just defend against Dragon, and I'm really looking forward to that. So very simple chapter, I think, but the content we got, I think, was very well needed, and especially with the lack of story we've kind of had with the past 3 to 4 chapters of Kaneki transforming into Dragon. So that is my review for this week's latest chapter of Tokyo Ghoul Re. I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts, theories, and speculations on this chapter. Where do you think the story will be heading? How many more characters are we going to get introduced to? Where's Yomo? Where's Uta? Ayato, the one-eyed ghoul? Amon, Akira, Sato, all these characters that have yet to pop up yet again, will we actually see them later on down the road in some future chapters? And do you guys agree with me that the specialist that Scarecrow / Hide is talking about is most likely Kano? And do you guys agree with me that if bringing Kano back into the story, will that also bring Kimi back into the story as well? So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing your guys' thoughts. Leave that down in the comments below, and I'm really looking forward to next week's chapter 148 of Tokyo Ghoul Re. But until then, and until next week, I'll talk with you guys later.